welcome back to the pod. We have a tennis episode today with head coach Denise Dy and graduate assistant Mati Magrini. Thank you for joining us. And then we also have Presley. You can't see her yet, but she will wander into the screen at some point. She's the team dog, right, guys?
Yep.
The captain, if you will. But first, for you two, how did you start playing tennis? What are your earliest memories?
Go for it.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. I'm Mati, and how I started playing tennis, I think I was actually going on a swim camp in a tennis club near my house back in Italy, and then whenever I would walk back to the courts, back home, I would walk near the courts, and I was just asking my mom what are they playing? What are they playing? And my mom was like, why don't you just try it out? And I was like, sure. And then I just tried it out one day. And I went actually with my brother, but he did not like it because he said it was boring. And so I continued to play, and he didn't. So, yeah.
Started from there. What about you?
Yeah, hey, thanks a lot for having us here. So, yeah, for me, my tennis journey began because of my uncle. He was a huge tennis and golf person, went to the U.S. Open in golf, went to Grand Slam. So he was the one who introduced me to the sport. I was around 9.5 years old, and, yeah, I never dropped my racket ever since.
Okay, Mati, so you played here as a Bulldog. Now you're an assistant coach. What has been your favorite memory playing here as a Bulldog?
I think I gotta go my freshman year, which was, I think, when we won conference in 2022. I think clinching regular season and went 10-0 without losing any matches the regular season. That was probably my favorite memory. Yeah.
All right, Coach, I was talking to you about this before, but so you went to the University of Washington, you played there, you got your degree in psychology, but tell us about your minor, because it is probably the coolest minor that I've seen.
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. I haven't talked about that in years, but yeah, so actually during my student-athlete journey at University of Washington, I played there all 4 years. I also I had aspirations to become an officer in the United States Army, and during that time, I went through a couple of the beginning courses, and right before trying to become actually an officer, I actually was medically disqualified. So I couldn't continue my service from there, but they told me that as a civilian, I seemed pretty cool. So they decided to keep me a little bit. And the University of Washington actually is one of the only public universities who has the most Medal of Honors in pretty much in their alumni group. So they created a military science minor just for that, and I was probably one of the only civilians in that program. So I had a great time, learned so much about not just only the history of it, but just the respect and the camaraderie coming after that. And it has a lot of good relations with basically sports, which I found really interesting. And yeah, I had a fantastic time meeting all the guys.
And what was the class that you were telling me about?
One of the classes, it was a 301 military science 301 class, is upper level division class, and basically our assignments, or I guess our test question was, it's basically high navigation, where you would basically get dropped off in one point. You got to find your way to another point with your squad. And you had to get a situation report, make sure you have to figure out how many hours does it take you to get there, what is your terrain, how you're going to make sure you carry 70 pounds of gear in the process. So it was basically a 2-hour basically simulation of how you get to point A, point B as safe as possible with your squad. And that was probably one of my, I guess exam questions per se. One of my most favorite classes and part of it.
Do you feel like your psychology degree helps you in coaching?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's definitely applicable on a day-to-day basis. I think psychology, at the end of the day, it's obviously it's the science of the mind, and we can connect it through social concepts and also through scientific reasons as well. So I love that combination, and coaching is just such a relationship industry. You build your relationships with your athletes, with your donors, with your supporters, with everybody possible, with all of y'all. And I think a psych degree is it has been definitely, I wouldn't say just helpful, but definitely eye-opening. You see things in very different perspectives, and you're definitely a little bit more open-minded. So I thought it was a great choice in my degree, I guess, following therefore. I also, when I was my time in Arizona during COVID, when obviously sports were kind of crashed out, I also had the opportunity to get my Master's of Science degree in entrepreneurship. So that was a great transition in the business degree standpoint. So my first year that I head coached over here, I was actually finishing up my master's degree at the same time. So, same thing, like college athletics, especially these days, it's all about every sport now has become an industry, has become a business. We want to keep fighting for not only our sports, but also for our teams as well. So that degree as well, I am huge in the academic component, the student athlete experience as well.
Okay, you've clearly done a lot. You've learned a lot. What led you to become a tennis coach?
Like I said, I love tennis. I'm very passionate for tennis. It's an addictive sport. It's a lifetime sport, just like golf. There's just so many avenues and ways that you can approach the sport. Everybody can have their own journey and within it, and I think that's what I love about it the most. Like you can have a college experience, you can go through it in high school. Like our team and us, we visited the local clubs around the area. People are playing tennis well until their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I know I've coached somebody who's a world champion in the 80 and overs category. So it's just one of those things where tennis is it's very holistic, it's very wholesome. It's so hard to, you can, in my personal opinion, can do pretty much anything in the sport as long as possible. And regardless if you don't want to continue your journey in the pro world, even our Fresno State alumni, like the student athletes who, just like Mati herself, like I'm sure Mati is going to be but in the sport of tennis for as long as she can. But even our Fresno State tennis alumni, were in the men's side or the women's side. I think that was one of the reasons why I came out here too, is because of the history of it. If you're not a pro tennis player, and we currently have a pro tennis player from Egypt right now who's playing on the tour, but if you don't play pro, you're basically a tournament director, you are a club director. Every Fresno State tennis alumni that I know of, it's the outreach of what they do in the tennis world is absolutely amazing. So whether you're running tournaments, you're officiating tournaments, or you're a club director, or you're a tournament sponsor, whether it's in the U.S. or even around the world, and we have many Bulldogs in Europe, especially where you come from, Britain, from Czech Republic, Germany. We have a lot of German blood in our system, a lot of Italians, obviously. So I think, tennis in general, to answer your question in short, it's just not only a wholesome sport, but it's something where, you could stay connected until, forever and ever, I guess.
So internationally, you were recruited internationally. What are the challenges with that when you're talking to schools in places you haven't been?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing when you are recruiting international, it's you don't really know what you're going to face until you're there. You don't really know, the culture shock that's going to be. You're not going to have basically nothing that you had in your home country, especially, coming from Europe. But I bet, obviously, the good thing about tennis, it's, we're a lot international. And I had a lot of teammates, from all around the world, Australia, Asia, all of them. And it's, everyone is saying the same thing. Pretty much, it's, you don't know what you're going to expect, and you don't know what you're going to get until you get there. And I feel even in official visit, you get a really big culture shock, but you're never gonna be okay, I'm gonna be leaving there, so I'm not gonna have my food, my people around me, obviously. But I think the best thing about it, it's the kind of opportunity you have to get this experience. I feel there is nothing comparable to what I did. Obviously, when I was leaving, I was I don't know if what I'm gonna get, it's gonna be worth it. But I feel right now it's uncomparable. I would do this over and over again, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. So obviously, anything that comes with it, you're gonna study in another language, everything, the relationship you're gonna build, in these kind of timelines, it's crazy. So yeah.
Denise, what are the challenges recruiting internationally?
I think probably one thing what Mati said is that they didn't grow up in a college system watching D1 sports, D1 football, even tennis for that matter. I think just what Mati says. Division I NCAA is one of the most unique things around the world. So a lot of international players don't quite yet fully understand that, besides hearsay. And I think, obviously the distance is probably one of the biggest things, being able to have them come out here and really see kind of what we're all about and what Fresno State's all about. And even for me to go all the way out there and leave the program and the team, I think it's also obviously very difficult. So distance is huge, but at the same time, like tennis, very similar to golf as well. It's such an international sport. Like even Mati, she knows like pretty much almost all the players in our conference. Like it's such a small world. And a lot of people are entering into the college space internationally, at least for the tennis side of things, and even more so than before. So I think the international conversation is definitely challenging for the ones who are trying to look for a place that fits for their academic and athletic expectations and standards. But I think it's almost like the next step now for most of the juniors that we see in the tournaments and events that we recruit to now.
So, Coach, you recruit internationally and even here from the United States. What's a piece of advice that you would give to those younger players dreaming of playing Division I?
Yeah, I think first off, like we will not have this opportunity without our academic careers. So I definitely think you definitely want to prioritize that. And I think secondly, if you're dreaming to become a D1 athlete, I think it is a great goal. But at the same time, you have to just also stay focused and prioritize your own development too, and try to figure out what your strengths are as an athlete, how you're going to contribute in a team. And I think all those things come at by just focusing on your sports and focusing on you and yourself. So I think if you do those things right and to the best of your ability, I think anybody has a good shot.
So something in tennis is the mental aspect, right? Especially when you go 3 sets, it can last hours. You have to be mentally checked in for that long. Can you talk about, I guess, the weight of the mental side of the game for both of you?
I think to me, I realized it even more, like, obviously, like, growing up, when I was a freshman, I wasn't really, like, waiting that much, that part, but I've always thought that it's basically, like, 80% of the game, probably, in tennis. Obviously, like, I feel like because there is something that it's like everyone is going to go through conditioning, everyone is going to go through tennis practice. Like, it doesn't really matter, like, the amount of time that you are going to play tennis and obviously run or, like, lift, because I feel like every single athlete that is playing D1 or professional, they're all going to get that one in. But, like, the amount of time that, like, you're going to be present in practice, the amount of time that you're going to spend that extra work, like, okay, like, I've worked on something, but, like, how much does this affect, like, my game, like, in terms of, like, are you aware of what's happening? Like, obviously, like, it's not only tennis, conditioning, or lift. I feel like it's anything else. Like, what do you do in the time that you're not spending on court? And I feel like that's probably everything, like, mental side of it. And especially in tennis, because you're alone there. Obviously, like, in college, you have the chance to, like, have coach, like, talk to you. But, like, in tennis in general, like, you're there by yourself. Like, you can't ask for, like, a change, like, in team sports or anything. So I think, like, it's really, like, you against you. So I think for me, at least 80%.
Well, everybody, now you see, like, we have a graduate student in sports psychology here. And if just a reminder too, Mati is one of our last NCAA participants in doubles, making it a 32 draw, which is really, really impressive, and with over like 300 Division I teams. So no, I think to piggyback off of that, I think she's absolutely right in terms of everybody has a lot of similar skill sets. And obviously, you know that it's a huge mental game, and I think she's right. Yeah, it really depends on your intentions, what you put out on the court. It really depends on your own accountability. It really depends on not only what you do outside, but the decisions you make outside that could affect what you do inside of the tennis court as well. So, yeah, I think she hit the nail pretty hard there. And I think that's exactly the difference between, like, players who are successful in our sports and players who do struggle, is trying to figure out that their own accountability and their own ways upon how they're going to bring themselves out, because unfortunately, nobody can help you. We have no subs. You can't just take a pause. You only get 2 minutes before changeovers, and you got to keep moving on. There are no timeouts in our game. So you definitely have to figure out and solve your own problems and be very independent in your own person, regardless if there is a coach there or not.
So playing such an independent sport, how do you notice that affects how the girls develop? Because like how you said, you can't really rely on a teammate to sub you out or carry you out, especially you now that you've graduated. How do you see that carry out into life?
I think in general it's like whatever coach was saying, like it's this decision making. I feel like at the end of the day, it's like anything you're gonna do like throughout your match or like throughout your day, it's gonna affect whatever you're gonna do in the future. And I think like I'm honestly really grateful when I got the opportunity to come to Fresno State and had the opportunity to work with Denise in like obviously like different ways, like starting as a freshman and then right now like it's very it's very significant the amount of like time and like the things I got from her in terms of like decision making. Like she told me like at the end of the day it's like whatever you're gonna decide to do, just go for it. And obviously like it's the same thing tennis and outside of the court you just wanna do and take a decision that's gonna impact your life in like the best way possible. So yeah.
And transitioning from a student athlete to now a coach, how has that changed your perspective on the sport?
I think actually it's pretty like right now I was talking to Denise at the beginning of the semester. I think like right now I don't realize like how much things like you as a student athlete you wait that you think like they're so important and like they drain you mentally. And right now it's like well like obviously like I'm still like obviously like working with the team and see all the girls that were my team last year, but it's like sometimes you think about it and it's like probably I should not be stressing too much over something that's gonna like take my focus out of like what's the real goal. Like so at the end of the day like what's gonna make me better, you know, and in terms of like a teammate, in terms of player, in terms of everything. And I think like that's probably the biggest thing, like you just like prioritize different things. And I think it's very interesting to see like how many things changes between like being a student athlete and just like being around the team.
Yeah, I'm sure like a lot of people have been out there, like when they go from an athlete and they figure out, hey, like what is my next step? You know, like what am I doing now and in the near future? And I think that having Coach Mati, now Coach Mati, which is something different to say, is here in the team. It's incredible, and I think that's kind of what you want to see for your student athletes. Not only you have somebody who stays here for 4 years, but also has transitioned into a coaching role that has also is even mentoring the freshmen, the sophomores, and the current student athletes on the team. That's incredible. It's unreplaceable, especially when you have somebody who has been there in their own shoes from the very first day that they step on this campus.
Coach, you got to represent the Philippines on their national team. What did that mean to you?
I mean, that experience, also an incredible experience that I can't forget. I was able to represent Fed Cup, which is the Women's Cup, which is the Davis Cup, or World Cup of tennis, basically. Now it's called the Billie Jean King Cup. So that experience has helped me play in the junior Grand Slams. It has also helped me go through a lot of teams. I've been probably involved in teams since I was about 16 years old. So even if I did not play in college, I was introduced to, all these national federations around the world. Also an unreplaceable experience. I had a great time. I reached like probably top 50 in the World Juniors. I won a couple of lower level pro tournaments before I transitioning into my college career. So that experience will be forever grateful. And currently right now, because of that, I am also the Billie Jean King Cup captains, which is basically the coach for the Philippines. I will be departing this December to coach Team Philippines for Southeast Asian Games, which is mini Olympics. So I will be participating in that and some of their also Billie Jean King Cup hopefully for the next year or two. So far so good. But team sports for me that's probably why I'm a college coach. There's obviously many different avenues you could take as a coach, especially in the sport of tennis. There's juniors, there's high-level juniors, high-level pros. But I choose college tennis because of the team atmosphere, and that's all about it. So coaching the Philippine team as well is also a great passion, in addition to my college sport.
What does that mean for you two to represent your culture at the highest level and then also within the NCAA?
Yeah, I'm very proud. Like Philippine tennis has been like around. Yeah, it's been around. It's small. It's obviously a small country, but historically we had some great tennis players coming out of there. Even in college athletics, when I was growing up, one of my I guess I wouldn't say for lack of better words, role models was a Filipino athlete, and she played at UCLA. She won the NCAA doubles title. So Filipinos, we love tennis, we love basketball. It's always been a sport that we've been really passionate about. So yeah, even just going behind like all of that history, I think it's really hard to say with words. I think I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do that, and I'm very appreciative of the people who also kind of paved the way for me to be a women's coach in a sport like that, for sure.
And take us through, for someone who isn't as familiar with college tennis, the fall versus the spring.
You want to start it out? You want to give
You
it a
wanna
try?
go? All
Hey,
right.
you know, Matt is going to cut it.
All right. Well, basically, it's kind of tough to understand because, like, I feel like in college you only think about one season. Like, it's either spring season, fall season. But we have fall tournaments during the fall, obviously, and it's individual tournaments. So you're competing, obviously, for Fresno State, but it's only gonna matter on whoever is gonna be in what kind of position. Because obviously, in tennis, during the spring, you compete as a team, and in a team setting, you have 6 singles player and 3 doubles pairs, and so it goes like line 1, which is obviously like technically the most competitive line, and then you go down to 6. And as coach was saying, since she's gonna put the lineup, obviously, she's gonna put whoever's gonna play 1, 2, or 3, and obviously this is based on the fall results that you have during individual tournaments. And we were just at regionals actually last weekend, where the girls competed obviously for our region, and then we're gonna have 2 more tournaments. It's gonna be in Rolling Hills, J. Kramer next weekend, and then the weekend after in Ponoma, which is like obviously the girls are gonna split and not the whole team. It's gonna go in all of them, but yeah.
Yeah, these invitationals in the fall are definitely a platform for players to get great experience, great match experience, and also kind of solidify who is best in our team. And our lineup goes by order of ability. So in the fall time, we're still in our second year of the NCAA being a tournament, an individual tournament in the fall, where historically our NCAA individual tournament was in the spring after our team event. So as of right now, college tennis season is basically individuals in the fall, which also solidifies our lineup that we will put out when we play other teams in the spring. And our spring season is going to be from end of January straight until end of April, with probably only 1 weekend off. So tennis season is very, very busy, and we will probably be traveling around half of those weekends. So, and our conference tournament is going to end basically end of April, and postseason for tennis is all of May. So, for the top teams, you will be competing basically from January through May of every single year.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Take us through your team. Returners, newcomers, what can we expect?
I mean, to summarize, and I'll let Mati go. I'll go first this time. So our team is going to be 4 seniors, 1 junior, 1 sophomore, and 2 freshmen. So we have a veteran team, an old team. Out of those 3 seniors, we have 3 transfers. They've had participated in their lineups in other schools. They had their first, I guess, their warm-up year last year. So I'm pretty excited to actually watch them really compete this year, especially in our last year in the Mountain West. So I think we have a very deep lineup. I think we're going to have to figure out who's going to be where, and I think that's where the fall tournaments exist. I think our lineup is pretty open right now. For the last 2 or 3 years, our top of the lineup, or I guess our best players, have been solidified by pretty much only 2 to 3 people, which is one is sitting in this chair. Mm-hmm. So having some of the players the opportunity to play high now, I think is pretty exciting. So there's definitely going to be a lot of mix-up for the spring season next year. And I hope that we definitely can finish at least the top 3, top 5 in our conference. I think we have a good shot.
You have an honorary member, too, to the team.
I know she
Presley.
hasn't come in yet.
She's
Presley.
taking a little nap.
Yes, I know. Unless you want me to bring her up here. Come on,
Here.
Presley. Come on,
You need to be
give
in
us
for
some
this
love.
Okay. You have an honorary member to the team, Presley.
She's the best.
So, who is she? Your team dog, right?
Yes, I know. Actually, yeah. Thanks to Marielle, where she's actually on the website.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Presley is actually also a college tennis veteran. She's been in 4 institutions. She started her career at the University of Iowa, and then when I went over to
She's a
Washington,
Hawkeye.
Arizona, and this is her 4th pit stop. So she probably has just as much, if not more, experience as I do in the college athletic world, and probably puts a little love in everybody's hearts a little bit better than I do as a coach without my whistle, like I ever have one. So, yeah, she comes to our practices every day. I'm very fortunate that our facility is outdoors, so she gets to roam around, and thank goodness she doesn't have to Yeah, I mean, she chases balls, I guess, Mati, but she
does
just
sometimes.
won't bring it back.
She does.
So, I mean,
I mean, you just
like,
keep it for herself.
Exactly.
Doesn't want to share.
Yes, but pets are unlimited, so if anybody wants to drop by the tennis center and receive any pets from Presley, that they're all free, and Presley will be more than happy to do that all day,
Sure.
every day.
So, Mati, what about Fresno State drew you in? And if you could tell people what makes Fresno State special?
I was thinking because I thought you were gonna ask me this question actually. So was I actually? No, but I thought about this, and I feel like I've been around. Obviously, like a lot of my friends are in other schools and stuff. I feel like the biggest thing about Fresno State is the people and how strong the community is. I feel like I was even looking at the podcast like yesterday, and I was like, everyone said this, but it's actually really true. Like the people that are around Fresno State, like I don't feel like. Obviously, like, you miss home every day, but, like, right now, because I've been here for a long time, I feel like it's kind of like it's home because, like, the people around, like, the sport environment or anything, like, everyone is actually, like, supportive for, like, sports and, like, even professor, like, anything about Fresno State gives the understanding of, like, family, what a really family is, and I feel like that's probably, like, the strongest, yeah. I
And
think
Coach,
so.
what's your sales pitch when you're to a recruit about coming to Fresno State?
Oh yeah, sorry, I have to repeat. I'm probably going to repeat Mati, but it's literally the history. It's our alumni base. It's our support group. It's the people who live in the city. It's everybody who works in the athletic department. It's you're only a phone call away or a walk through the door just to say hi to somebody, try to find help, and have support. And everybody's just so willing to really lean in towards each other, and I think that's kind of what makes this place also not only special, but just very highly effective. Like I said, especially in the tennis world, I can't express in words how many times I'm in the airport with my Bulldog hat, or I'm in tennis tournaments, or I'm recruiting, and somebody from 50 years ago in a tennis tournament not only has gone to Fresno State, but has just amazing memories from this place. And yeah, and we can just go on and on. So people definitely, by far, I know probably everybody is saying the same thing, but like what Mati said, it's 100% true.
Last question for me, for both of you. What's your why? Why do you play tennis, and why do you coach tennis?
You go first.
You want me to go first?
You go.
My why? I guess... that's a loaded question.
I know.
I can go for like an hour. I guess my why do I coach? I guess I would have to go back to kind of, I grew up in, both my parents are Filipino, and our culture is just it's such a family environment. You help each other, you do anything for each other. And I think as a coach, that's kind of something that I really try to do my best about with my athletes. I think as an athlete, it's very difficult, and I think the opportunity to not only mentor but to guide and to just give athletes a platform to do their best and be their best. I think it's just something that honestly just makes me happy, just plain and simple. So that's probably one of the biggest reasons, I guess, to sum it up.
So you said, why do you coach? I'm going to say, why do I play tennis? I think, it's pretty much the same thing. Like, it's not only my passion, but I feel like anything around it, like the whole, obviously, like, connection and everything, it's like, I wouldn't be able to see myself anywhere without tennis. Like, that's probably, like, my biggest thing. Like, I can't think about myself today, even, like, where tennis brought me. Like, I'm here because of tennis, obviously, and academics. But, I think, honestly, this is, like, the reason why. That's probably you, like, give everything for that. So, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Pawd.